You are a phoenix, constantly evolving into your wildest, truest self. Oof! And it's so radiant, so powerful, so awe-inspiring. This message is going to be for my trailblazers. Um, you might identify with like the mother role or like a caretaker. You have a very like, mothering, nurturing energy. But you're also like a leader, a trailblazer. Um, and maybe you have an interest in the occult. Okay. Um, and yeah, so if that sounds like you, or you just like my energy, stick around and join me for this really powerful reading, okay? All right, so let's start. The Phoenix. Ooh, yeah. Um, this card is associated with the sign of Scorpio, the number 8, which is like the infinity symbol. What does it say? Death and rebirth. Mm. So, major life changes are on the horizon, so it's important to prepare yourself. This can mean uncomfortable upheaval, unexpected events, and major shifts in mindset. Your life is about to completely change and never return to the way it was. But I feel like this is kind of what drives you, this transformation, this evolution, this burning it all down and, beginning anew, this being reborn. Okay? It's important to release attachment to the outcome and understand that this is all happening for your soul's growth. You know that though. That's why you do it. That's like, yeah, this is really something that drives you. I'm the same. You might resonate with alchemist, transformation, yeah, and Phoenix, death, regeneration, and rebirth. So the phoenix burning invokes the alchemical practice of embodying your true frequency through shadow work, life upheaval, and integration of what's blocking your light. The mystical process of soul ascension and internal transformation can't happen without an ego death or going through a dark night of the soul. It teaches us that we can go through dramatic shifts in our lives and return renewed. So it's time for you to ride this wave of change towards your more aligned and true self. New realities are crashing in. It's time for upheaval and transformation. Have no fear. This is just part of the process. Yeah, and you love the process, right? You love the process of like becoming new, becoming, more. Because yeah, in the mythology of the phoenix, it lives for 500 years and then builds itself a nest and then sets itself on fire. And when it gets strong enough, it creates like an egg out of its ashes and places it on an altar to Ra. Okay, and so that indicates to me that the phoenix, like when it dies and it is reborn, it doesn't just like start back at one. It goes from like 1 to 10 and then goes back to one. No, it goes from 1 to 10 and then it goes to 11. So you're like going to the next evolution of yourself. And this is what you constantly do. You seek experiences that evolve you, or at least when these like upheavals or changes in mindset come along, you're like, ooh, I'm ready. I'm down. The phoenix doesn't fear death and rebirth. They're like, sweet, I just lived 500 years. That's so long. That's such a long time to, live. And so by the end, they're like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of this one. I'm trying to do it again. All the lessons I learned, now I can do it again with a new strength. Oh my God. This reading is going to be really powerful. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes, okay? So, this is what drives you: death and rebirth. This, alchemical process of embodying your true frequency through shadow work, life upheaval, and integration of what's blocking your light. All right. So, yeah. I love it. So your more aligned, true, wild self is coming. And we pulled Lilith, who is the dark divine mother of creation. Ooh. And so this card is all about sovereignty. And so a lot of your, issues and maybe not issues, but your challenges and limitations are related to sovereignty and like being suppressed. Okay. Let me read this to you. So it's time to unleash who you truly are. We just went through that death and rebirth, and now you're becoming more of who you are. Where have you allowed others to demonize, suppress, and control you? Stand in your power like the dark mother of creation once did. Lilith was rebellious and untamed like a wild tree. You know we love a tree analogy here. In ancient occult symbology, the tree is tied to goddesses, fertility, and the divine feminine. Oof, that's going to come back in this reading, so keep that in mind. So this oracle card invokes her wild and rebellious nature, and yours too. And you, like Lilith, and other empowered women in biblical texts, you might have been demonized, and someone tried to suppress you for your true, wild, untamed nature. In the story of Lilith, which is in the Talmud, Lilith was the first woman before Eve, and she was cast out of paradise because she refused to submit and lie under Adam for sex. And so God and Adam were like, you're being disobedient, blah. But like, I'm sorry. Why do I have to lie on the ground and get my back dirty? You lie on the ground. Seems like a very reasonable choice that she made. And, iconic, brilliant. The women in the Bible are always just like, no, let's get free. Let's see what else is there beyond this garden, beyond what the disembodied voices told us. And, Adam's always like, I don't know. What does daddy say? Well, so anyway, let me read this to you. Lilith's biblical story shows the importance of harmonizing and integrating the dark divine masculine and feminine shadows in this world. Neither one is better than the other. Both are needed and valid. Her archetype and plight are a vessel for collective healing. When we resolve this ancient wound within ourselves individually, we are shifting humanity. So step into your sovereignty. Show your untamed and wild nature. So yeah, each time you go through this death and rebirth process, you become more of yourself. And more of yourself is, sovereign. You are untamed. You are wild. You can't be controlled. You can't be suppressed. And you can't be afraid of that. Yeah. On this, there's a boa constrictor, which is I always think of the boa constrictor as this sign of independence. Humans learn our stuff from shared knowledge, from learned behavior from other humans. But boa constrictors, they're super individual species. Yeah, so humans are a social species, whereas boa constrictors are very individual. They only meet to mate, and then they part ways, and the boa constrictor mother doesn't actually do any mothering. She the children are at birth equipped with all they need to survive as a mature boa constrictor would. So they just rely on instinct and this inner knowing that they know what to do. Their wild nature is the thing that's going to keep them safe and help them navigate through this earth realm. Okay, so you're driven by this death and rebirth process. Your challenges and limitations might be related to, suppressing your true, wild, untamed, sovereign nature. And how you're going to alchemize this, transform this shadow aspect into your superpower is leading your life. This is Black Moon Lilith in Aries. So you might be in Aries. I've been getting that a lot. You might be a Scorpio. You might be in Aries. So the universe is calling you to embrace your desires, set boundaries, and say no. You may feel the need to take on the world by yourself, rejecting support from others for fear of appearing weak. This can leave you feeling depleted, and the lesson here is that you can both lead others and rely on them for support. The first step is to change your belief around independence. So yeah, like, with this wound around being suppressed and told what to do and, not being able to act in your sovereignty, having to you might have developed this kind of like a, hyper independence, this over reliance on yourself and fearing support from others. You could have, so Aries is a masculine sign in the zodiac. The first sign, it's like the leader. You go first. It rules over the self, identity, and personality. It's symbolized by the man, an energetic fire sign. It prefers to blaze its own trail. And I feel like you do too. I'm the same. I'm like, let me just do it. Let me figure it out. I like being like the first, and I like doing things like, I don't know, that people kind of don't expect. So you could have felt forced into the role of having to do everything on your own, or your natural desire and tendency towards independence could trigger others. They could maybe have seen it as like selfishness, or it could have just scared them because they're like, what? How do you, like, what are you doing? And you're just like trusting yourself. You're trusting your natural instinct, like the boa constrictor. Ooh, powerful. And also with the snake analogy of the like shedding, there's kind of this like shedding of the old skin and like becoming new, more of who you are. So you could have had an inherited pattern of self-reliance and a fear of support from others that could leave you feeling unfulfilled. Maybe, you had a mother, or you are a mother who's had to lean heavily on their masculine energy to support the family. Yeah, I think that's probably a lot of us, right? Certainly if you're a person of color. And so this guidebook gives some dark divine feminine and dark divine masculine shadow work practices. Let me give them to you. Accepting support is healthy and will help lift energetic burdens. Once you accept support, the universe will manifest more people who want to support you. You are opening your divine feminine container to receive abundance. That's going to come up a lot in this reading. Like, it's crazy. I'm still like gagged when the reading just comes through so clearly, and it aligns so much with like the 3D reality. So, your dark divine masculine shadow work. You secretly admire and gravitate towards independent energy. This creates inner tension with your own masculinity. The key is to learn to lean into your own leadership while accepting and integrating other options. Allow divine masculinity to shine while also giving space for others' desires. Release the shame around who you are. It's time to embrace the fire that burns within you. And isn't that crazy? Because we started with the Phoenix, something that has a fire within it that you can, burn yourself up and be renewed. And so, yeah, I love it. So that's the path we're on. And so I pulled those on the new moon. And so then I pulled some tarot cards to get a little more clarity on this message. And I kept saying, like, before, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to come back later. So let me clue you in. Oh, so good. Okay, let me move this little bell. Take a little swig of water. All right. So, first card we pulled. 7 of Spirals. I love this deck. It's the Liberation Tarot, and like it's all so beautiful, and I love the like imagery and the just like the thinking behind everything. So this is Seven of Spirals, which is like the Seven of Wands in the, you know, regular tarot deck, the traditional tarot deck. So let me tell you what this one's about. So, the Seven of Spirals demands that we cultivate a strong belief in ourselves. We can easily get caught up in the swirling, anxious noise of success. Professional gossip threatens to undermine our own creative drive. The bigger we get, the harder it is to maintain our integrity. With many centers and many homes, our task is to breathe deeply into our roots. It's a felt sense of our own power and potential that undergirds our creativity. There may be pushback, resistance, or jealous energy in the room. Turn the volume down on external feedback. Place your feet on the ground. Listen. Amidst the tornadoes of change and disruption, let there be a quiet homecoming. Start here. What does it feel like to center in the body? Let every effort emerge and return to this core. Ooh, that's so beautiful. And I love it. It's like this same kind of like cyclical, infinite, you know, like going within and coming without kind of energy, this evolution kind of energy. And that's so powerful because, you know, it says, amidst the tornadoes of change and disruption, let there be a quiet homecoming. Four of Wands. So this reading has a lot of wands and pentacles, which is fire and earth energy. And like, yeah, it's like giving fire and earth, which is masculine and feminine. And it's just like very abundant, very successful. So yeah, I feel like you maybe have this fear that like, if you don't suppress yourself, be obedient, you know, suppress your wild nature, your true self, you maybe won't find success. You won't find financial success. You won't find spiritual success, you know, community, belonging. But let me continue with this reading. That's not happening, okay? The opposite, in fact. So, yeah, this is calling for you to cultivate a strong belief in yourself. Because, yeah, like through the like cycles of change, the noise can get to you and it can be really loud. The anxious thoughts, the doubt, other people's, you know, perceptions and their stuff. So return to your center, okay? Return back to the source. So the next thing we pulled, Nine of Flowers. Oh, isn't that so pretty? We keep pulling like this like vineyard kind of scene. And it's all about like productivity and fertility and like transformation and devotion. Okay, let me read this to you because I love how they put everything in this one. So, Nine of Flowers. And it's perfect. Remember what I just told you about the Seven of Spirals, okay? Self-confidence and certainty come from honoring the direction within. We are all part God. The Nine of Flowers is the surety that comes from obeying our intuition. When we act in alignment with our values, we experience a clarity of vision. A rush of success, both materially and spiritually, follows our ability to know what we know and follow through with action. A gate card, the Nine of Flowers opens the joy of discipline. Yet, like all nines in the minor arcana, a theme of compromise lurks in the shadows. Arriving at our sense of purpose requires sacrifice. At times, this means letting go of unhealthy relationships, recklessness, or illusions of stability. Making wine is laborious. The soil needs tilling, and the vines must be pruned. At the other end of discipline, though, is the delight of satisfaction. Drink up. I love that. Yeah. So you have been, you know, driven by this like transformation to become your true self. And it's taken discipline. It's taken boundaries. It's taken you, you know, being like, this is what it is. This is how we're doing it. and being quietly, constantly, slowly, steadily devoted to that. And it's paying off. Oh my gosh. Um, so yeah, keep that in mind as, this upheaval happens. I know you do, but so the next card I pulled from this deck, the doula. Isn't that so beautiful? Ah! This is like the Empress card in the typical deck. So I was telling you, like, this card has so much like abundance and success and, creation. And yeah, so the doula, so pretty. Let me read you what this one is. So it's like the Empress. Your girl resonates with the Empress. The Empress is an earth card. Okay, so the doula. The doula is Empress of abundance, a conduit of pleasure, and an arbiter of passion. Ooh, what a beautiful way to put that. A collector of ancestral cures, medicines, and herbs, she offers herself as a trusted companion. She stands at the portals of birth and death, holding open their curtains with worn and hardy fingers. For the doula, transition is as spiritual as it is material. She is well acquainted with the waters of labor, bereavement, and ritual. Determined to facilitate more feeling and smooth out the friction, she is afraid of neither blood nor grief. Oh, blood nor grief. I thought I was going to say death. Anyway, blood nor grief. The doula knows how to access her own satisfaction, easing the path for others along the way. This is the doula's gift, the child she births into being again and again. Open the gates to your own pleasure and loss. Feel all the way. Ah! Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so in this death and rebirth process, that's part of nature. That's part of creation. And as is blood and grief and all of these senses, these feelings. That's what comes with creating in the physical reality. So, you're a trailblazer. You are creating something new. And it's like showing other people how to do it, how to, like, the more they unleash their true selves, come into their true nature, the more abundance is created, the more life is facilitated and nurtured and cared for. You know how I know like this like abundance energy is coming? Because I then pulled the Empress from another deck. Ooh, isn't this so beautiful and like fecund and we were talking about like the goddess and fertility and abundance with the tree, and so yeah, again we have like Mother Nature and fertility, abundance. The Empress is an earth card and it's associated with Venus. You might have some heavy earth placements. But yeah, so pretty. Let me read this to you because so good. Okay. The Empress radiates love, creativity, and fertile abundance. She is the nurturer of life and art, embodying the divine feminine. Through compassion, sensuality, and care, when she appears, it's time to slow down and receive, to allow beauty and pleasure and comfort back into your world. This card encourages self-care, healing, and creation born from joy rather than from duty. So yeah, like I think a lot of mothering and nurturing and creation in the past might have felt like you're obligated to do it. But, I feel like the phoenix doesn't, die and come back to life because like, oh, it's my responsibility. I said I was going to. Everyone expects me. I'm a phoenix. I'm supposed to go through the death and rebirth process. Like, they're not doing it out of duty. They're doing it out of joy. It's probably fun and pleasurable to expand and to just be in your purpose, be doing what is in your true nature to do, be your wild, untamed self. So, yeah, creating from joy rather than from duty. Duty. Anyway, growth takes time, so let what you're nurturing unfold naturally. So we got a lot of pentacles. Pentacles and earth, it's like a slow element, you know, like you don't just plant a seed and then the next day, you know, it's a tree. It's slow. It takes devotion. It takes tending to. It takes nurturing. This vineyard, you know, takes nurturing. You and what you are creating for the world, ooh, for humanity, it's going to take some time, okay? So be gentle, rest, be slow. Practice gratitude for small pleasures. Create or tend something living, a plant, art, or a relationship. And remember, nurturing yourself sustains all you love. I know that can be difficult for mothers and women, is taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself. Like, it's easy for you to care and nurture for your children or for other people and to make sure everyone else's needs are met. But nurturing yourself sustains all you love. Your children need to see you loving yourself so that they will know how to do it. But most importantly, you need to see yourself treating you well, allowing yourself to receive. And if you've been with me on this channel for a while, we've been practicing our receiving. So, yeah. And so, like, I feel like, you know, you have a fear that if you unleash your true wild nature, you're going to lose out on financial abundance and community and belonging. But yeah, babe, that's not true. Like, one, you're the source of the abundance. But yeah, spirit is just confirming that, you know, you're here to have support too. Just because you're independent and a wild woman and you can do it yourself does not mean that you are not going to have people who are going to be happy to support you and pour into you and celebrate you. So yeah, this is about reunions. 1111 might resonate, community, stability. Yeah, you're building a sturdy foundation. You've built a sturdy foundation and now you're building like another story. Oh, in so many ways. I love that. But it's like another story to like this. You've built this sturdy foundation and, you know, you've gone through this whole process, this whole cycle, and you are now on the next level. You keep leveling up, babe. That's what you do. And you're even more yourself now. Let me read this Four of Wands for you. Okay. The Four of Wands celebrates joy, stability, and community. It signifies milestones, completion of a project, a union, or a personal victory. This is the energy of homecoming, harmony, and belonging. It reminds you that success means little without shared celebration. So in relationships, it points to commitment or a deeper connection, and you've built something worth honoring, so let gratitude anchor the moment. So celebrate your progress, not perfection. Reconnect with your circle. Share joy, multiply strength. Anchor gratitude through ritual or gathering. Ooh, so beautiful. And I love that. That's totally aligned with the Empress and the doula. It's all about like nurturing life and this Nine of Pentacles. And so, you know, I've been telling you, what drives you is this constant evolution and these cycles. And yeah, you've reached the next level. So the Four of Wands is also about kind of like rest and like acknowledging, you know, you've reached a milestone and the world confirms this. Also, you see that snake again, this like shedding, this completion. So yeah, it also says harmony, belonging, and these are things that just keep coming up. So, babe, you've reached the next level. Let me read you what this says. Okay, the world. The world is completion, integration, and fulfillment. The moment where all cycles align. It represents mastery achieved through experience, wholeness realized through contrast. You've traveled through innocence, struggle, revelation, and rebirth to arrive here, centered, expanded, awake. The world affirms that endings are also beginnings, and you now stand as both student and teacher on your own journey. Student and teacher of your own journey. Ooh, beautiful. Celebrate your growth. You've earned harmony between inner and outer worlds. In relationships and endeavors, this card promises success, recognition, and peace through alignment. So celebrate progress instead of waiting for enough. Tie loose ends with gratitude and prepare to begin the fool's journey anew, wiser this time. Wow. And that's what we've been talking about, this like constant, like going through the cycles, going through the evolutions, constantly leveling up and ascending and becoming more of who you are. And through this process that you've been going through, you've gained a lot of strength, this inner strength, and you've like tamed your wild side through compassion, not through like brute force, And ooh, it's so brilliant. Strength is also the 8th card in the major arcana. So we have a lot of 8 energy, a lot of like just infinity, death and rebirth, cycle of life, completion, creation. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. So let me read what this one says for you. Strength speaks of inner power, compassion, and quiet courage. A woman calmly tames a lion, not through domination, but through love and trust. Yeah, that's how you've tamed your wild side. So this card represents emotional resilience and the strength born of gentleness. You're reminded that true mastery arises not from suppression, but from integration. Oof. To hold your fears with patience until they soften into allies. In all matters, compassion outlasts brute force. Oof, yes. Compassion is strength, babe. It's going to get you much farther in life. You're going to yield, better fruit with compassion rather than like mashing fruit through a machine, Gotta have some finesse, some devotion, baby. So practice patience. Not every battle needs a sword. Replace judgment with self-acceptance. Breathe deeply before responding to conflict. We were talking about that before too. Yeah. A lot of, breath and air, it sustains the fire. So breathe, come back to your center, have this inner compassion. And yeah, like that's really brilliant. This next level of you is strong because you've integrated and you have been nurturing and caring for yourself. And that's been benefiting everybody. And so what's coming in as a result of all of this, work that you've been doing is a seed has been planted. Okay. So yeah, on this most recent, cycle that you completed, you're on this new level now. And it's like this new level of stability and financial abundance. You can tell with the Empress cards, 2 Empresses and a 9 of Pentacles. But also, yeah, so let me read this to you. Oh my God. Okay. Ace of Pentacles. This represents new beginnings in the material world. Prosperity, stability, and tangible opportunity. It's the seed of abundance, promising growth through effort and grounded intention. It signals financial opportunity, career advancement, or manifestation of a long-term goal. It reminds you that prosperity is not luck, but alignment between vision and consistent action. Ooh, I love that. This card also speaks to physical health and security, tending to the body and home as sacred spaces. The universe offers fertile soil. It's your choice to plant the seed. So, ground new ideas in daily habits. Save before you spend. Nurture before you harvest. Ooh, harvest. Yes, yes, yes. We love this harvest. So abundant. Nurture before you harvest. And treat your body and environment as the foundation of abundance, because it is. It's like your body is your first home. It is, your physical home in this physical reality. And so, yeah, if you're not taking care of yourself, babe, the rest of your physical reality is going to feel very out of control and very unaligned. So I know you've been getting in alignment though. So we love this new version. And the result of you planting this seed, 10 of Pentacles. What I tell you, I said this was about you're just mastering the 3D freaking realm, okay? All of these pentacles, the Empress, Mother, just so much abundance. And, it's abundance that's going to nurture a lot of other people. So you being in your wild, untamed, true nature, going through this constant renewal, rebirth process, releasing your shame and stepping into your sovereignty, that's going to make you a lot of freaking money, baby. And it's going to not just give you money, it's giving legacy, babe. It's giving dynasty, okay? It's giving generational wealth. Ten of Pentacles. This symbolizes legacy, stability, and enduring prosperity. It marks completion of material and familial cycles, wealth shared across generations, or the establishment of a secure foundation. It represents home, tradition, and long-term success achieved through integrity and cooperation. It's abundance sustained by wisdom, not chance. It also reflects gratitude, the awareness that what endures is built by many hands. So cherish continuity while welcoming renewal. Renewal? Renewal? What? What? And the support, the community. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, cherish community while welcoming renewal. So preserve stability through shared values. Build wealth of spirit alongside wealth of matter, and honor the lineage of effort that supports you. Wow. Such a powerful reading. So brilliant. So I had pulled this for the new moon, and yeah, it's like a new moon in Cancer, which is about nurturing and the mother. And, that's what's been really coming through. So you are creating a lot of success and abundance for yourself. And that's what you're here to do. I love that. You're here to constantly become more and more of who you truly are, and to trust and just open yourself up to that. Recenter, breathe, find your center in your home, in your body, in your vessel. Ground yourself, nurture for yourself. Nurture yourself, because that nurtures others. It's created this sturdy foundation, and now you are on this next level with all of this wisdom that you've acquired, all of this wealth, all of this stability, all of this inner strength. And it's guaranteed to give you this generational legacy, this dynasty. You show us the way. You're the trailblazer. You're leading us by leading yourself first. Yeah. I love it. All right. I've delivered the message. Let me know what you think. Okay, it's so funny too because, I'm a transformation specialist, sovereignty coach, and ex-lawyer, and I empower women, creatives, and leaders on how to unleash their true selves, walk in purpose as divine disruptors, walk in purpose as divine disruptors, and create the life of their dreams. And this reading was totally about that. So, if you are finding yourself being challenged in your sovereignty, head on over to my website, ShebaNewmanBlount.com, and you can work with me one-on-one. And go back and watch some of these other episodes. These are there's definitely a, through line, a journey that keeps coming back. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So again, this message can resonate with you if you're a Scorpio or a Leo or an Aries, a fire sign, an earth sign. Could resonate with lions, Venus, Venusian energy. Okay. Yeah, babe. So breathe. Breathe. Trust the process. You got this. You keep leveling up. You keep getting better and better. You have nothing to fear, baby. You got it. You're nurtured. You're loved. And you're here to do this. You're here to set yourself on fire and be reborn anew. More true, more wild, more sovereign. Ooh, so powerful. Yeah, this really resonated with me too. Yeah, and really doing this, incorporating, this transformation process, owning my sovereignty, has led me to become the woman who went from easily receiving $5,000 every month to effortlessly receiving $100,000 every single month. You can do it too. Just gotta believe in yourself. So, anyway, that's all, folks. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you, Earth Angels, tomorrow. Love you. Bye.